All right, so we want to evaluate this problem. And so in order to do that, we want to change it back into radical form because it'll be easier for us to deal with in this case. So the way that works is we've got the bottom number is always going to be the index of the radical. And then we're going to take all this and then we're going to raise it to the top number of the fraction there. So this is how you would write that as an equivalent radical expression. Now, for order of operations, tells us we have to actually do the inside thing first. So you want to take the cube root of 343. And if you do that, you're going to get a 7 inside the parentheses. So all this here, the cube root of 343, that becomes 7. Now we just need to do 7 squared, which is going to be 49. And that would be your answer. Well, so we'll do 2 more examples looking at the same thing. So we'll do these 2 here. Okay, now it doesn't matter if the inside number is negative or positive, makes no difference. So I'm going to first start by doing the negative 27, and that's going to be we're going to do the cube root of that because that's the number in the bottom of the fraction. So that's always your index that we have there. And all this is then going to be raised to the power of 4, which is the top number of our fraction. We need to evaluate this inside. Now we're taking the cube root of a negative number. You can do that. You can take an odd root of a negative number that is defined. Okay. The only time you can't do that is if you have an even root. So an even root of a negative number you can't do, but an odd root you can. So the cube root of negative 27 is going to be negative 3, and we're raising that to a power of 4. Now, whenever you have a negative number that's being raised to an even power, it's going to become positive. Now, we're not taking the cube root, we're raising it to a power, so that's why we are able to do this. Okay, so when you multiply that, that's going to give you a positive 81. You're multiplying negative 3 4 times. So 4 negatives will give you a positive, and that's going to be our answer, 81. Let's do one more. This one down here, we have another negative 216, and we're going to take the cube root of that because the bottom number is odd. It's 3, so that becomes our index. And we're taking all this and we're squaring it. Okay, so it's always the bottom number is your index. The top number is what goes on outside the parentheses here. We need to take the cube root of negative 216, and that's going to give you negative 6 inside the parentheses. But now we have to square it. So negative 6 squared, that's going to be a positive number because anytime you have a negative raised to an even power, it's positive. And you're going to get positive 36.